All right, so let's take a look at integrated circuits. Integrated circuits are pretty awesome. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of talk over this and show some stuff. So you can see that this circuit here has a lot going on, right? We've got some components you've never seen before. These are transistors, all these 3-terminal devices, right? You can see it's got a terminal here, and a terminal here. There's one here, here. There's transistors all over this circuit, right? Here, 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 here. These are all transistors. We can also spot, let me go to blue for capacitor. There's a capacitor in there. Diodes, I'll go to green. This is a diode here, which we haven't learned about. Those are devices that you'll learn about in EE320. Okay, so when you take EE320, you'll learn about transistors, diodes, etc. Okay, and then of course we can see, let me grab my red, we can see there's resistors all over the place. Resistor, right? And so this circuit is full of different components. This is a very, very, very small integrated circuit. It looks pretty complicated from what we've seen, but what I've got over here is what's called the layout of the integrated circuit. So the acronym, or I guess it's just a very short acronym, IC, stands for integrated circuits. So if you ever see the word IC or hear somebody talking about ICs, or sometimes they'll call them ASICs, which means application specific integrated circuits. That is what they're referring to. They're referring to the integrated circuit. An integrated circuit is basically, I'm going to take my whole circuit and I am going to lay it out in some software. Typically we use what's called Cadence. It's a software package, a very expensive software package. It's not something that you'd be able to access unless your company has a license, or the university actually has a license. If you ever get the chance to take EE421, then you will get to use Cadence and lay out integrated circuits. But what you do is this, what I'm looking at here is the top level view of an integrated circuit. I am looking at a ridiculously complicated integrated circuit. Down, you can see every single layer in this circuit is a different color. And there are 6 metal layers in this particular circuit, going all the way down to the blue, up to the red, the yellow, the green, right? I'm gonna use my highlighter here. Blue is the lowest level of metal, if I remember correctly from when we laid out this integrated circuit. It goes blue, then I think red comes next, maybe this lighter yellow, and then there was green, pink, and a darker yellow. I know that these darker yellows at the top are the highest level of metal. What you're basically looking at is the top level view of a circuit that's actually stacked. So let's pretend we're looking at this thing on its side now. I'm looking at the side view of this. Or let me actually make it look pretty three-dimensional here. I'm looking at the side now, and if I'm looking at the side, like I said, there are metal layers in blue and wires going all over the place at the microscopic level. These are micrometer long and micrometer width wires. Sometimes even in the nanometers for the transistors that are on these circuits. And then you go up another level and there's red metal going and making connections all over the circuit. And if you want to connect between 2 layers, you use what's called a via, and it actually makes a connection from the red to the blue, and now there would be an electrical connection there. And then you go up another layer and you've got green. Maybe there's a green bus going this way, and so on up through the chip. That's called the stack up of the chip. And this is how you can fit loads and loads of components onto a single transistor. I think this, or onto a single integrated circuit. I think this one in particular is 1.1 inches by 1.1 inches, which is incredibly small for the amount of stuff that is on it. Again, this particular schematic is just one that I found on the internet. This is not representative of what's on this chip. This chip contains thousands and thousands of components. It's much more complex than this one, but I just wanted to show a layout and an integrated circuit schematic. There are hundreds of schematics like this laid out on this chip. Okay, so I just wanted to make that clear. Integrated circuits are very complicated. They're an entire subject on their own. That's why there's classes and research and multiple classes and textbooks dedicated to learning about them. But I just wanted to give you a brief overview, and in the next slide, I'm going to talk a little bit more about integrated circuits because this one got a little bit long. But I'm going to go ahead and end this video here.